Uma Musumes, horse girls to be exact. And if you're not familiar with them, well, guess what, buddy? You're about to be. Because we're going to sit here and indulge in some anime horse girl content. But first, let me give you some background about how I found out about this series. I found out about this series through the game Uma Musume Pretty Darby, which is basically a gacha game where you just get horses, you train them, and you race them. That's basically it. And one day I decided, you know what? I'm going to play the game. So I look up what the game is. And as I'm doing that, I find out that this series has multiple shows and a movie. Wait, you're telling me this horse game, Usamame, is actually a thing? There's no fucking way that it's real. Bro, what? I thought it was a game. I refuse to believe that it's an anime. Wait, no. I'm gonna go to Crunchyroll because there's no way. It is? No way. No, you're lying. So I ended up watching the anime. Now, I didn't end up watching all 3 seasons of the anime. I ended up just watching the spin-offs, only one of them, and that was the Ogre Cap one. And I won't lie to you, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Ogre Cap is my goat, I won't lie, but depending after this video, it might be different. And you'll see why with a particular horse. And that left me with the movie and the other spin-off. And I was like, you know what? Let me watch the movie and see what's it about. And after watching the movie, I just want to say this. The people that animated Blue Lock, y'all need to be sent to Alcatraz. Because there's no way a horse girl anime has better animation than a sport anime. I just refuse to believe it. That's malpractice right there. And another thing about this series is that the characters, the horses, they're all real. Even the races, they all actually happen. And you know how I know that? Because I can attest to the fact that I went back and I watched real life footage of these races. And when I found out about that, I was like, oh shit, that's kind of tough. And so after each race, I will be covering a fact about each horse. And the reason why I'm doing that is because 1, it's good content, and 2, they're actually really cool. All these horses and the stories that actually happen for these horses, they have better stories than most modern MCU movies. So enough yap, I'm excited to do this. So let's hop right into it. So the first race is the Yawai show. I actually don't even know if I'm saying that right. I've been sat here for 10 minutes trying to figure out if I've been saying it correctly. Now, do I be a good content creator and try to learn how to pronounce? No, I'm not.
Legs in the air. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Ooh, let's go racing, boys.
So the horse we're following in this race is Fuji Kiseki, and we're coming up on the last turn, but she has 2 other horses on her ass right now. But you know what her response to that was? Instead of panicking, she smiles because she has something up her sleeve, and that's the speed force. And no worries, you'll see more of these horses start to tap into the speed force like they're Wally West. She then goes on to outrun everybody to win the race. She even hits a nice little celly too. Now, Fuji isn't our real main character, but I'm still gonna give you some facts about her. Number 1, this is what the horse looks like in real life. Number 2, she's actually undefeated. But number 3, after this race, she has a career-ending injury. And it was a tendon-type injury, which is pretty common for racehorses, especially when they're like 1 year old, because their bodies are still maturing. So when they're racing this much and that hard, it's bound to happen. So she ended up retiring at 3 years old, which is par for the course for most horses because their careers do not last that long. Their careers at most last 4 years. So this isn't uncommon either. Also, that 3 to 4 year range is also their prime. So she also got cooked in the middle of her prime. All right, so let's meet our real protagonist. This is Jungle Pocket. Now, she just saw the greatness of Fuji and she was like, you know what? I want to race too. I want to become the strongest. I want to race the strongest. So that's her goal. She's going to try to race and hopefully, you know, just be the strongest. I mean, that's about it about her, to be honest. We now fast forward and she's getting ready for a race. Fuji has now joined the team and has been supporting her and helping her out. They don't really explain how they met, so I guess. Also, this old guy right here, He is a legendary trainer who also used to train Fuji and came out of retirement solely off of the fact that Fuji was like, yo, she's got that dog in her. Pocket's walking down the tunnel. She then sees another person. But this isn't just anybody. This is my other GOAT, Agnes Tachyon. So if you don't mind, I will be gladly glazing her throughout this entire movie. Pocket's like, I can tell you're strong. And Tachyon's like, how would you know that? One, I can smell it on you. And two, no one dresses up like Dr. Doofenshmirtz for a race and they're not fast. Tachyon then realizes that Pocket was the one that recently transferred from freestyle races. And then all of a sudden starts touching up all up on her for whatever reason. Now that we're fully acquainted with her, let's get to the next race. Hopeful Stakes. Now this race is a very significant one and you'll see why that is. Pocket was a little weirded out by Tachyon and I could see why that is, especially before a race if someone came up to me and started just, you know, touching all up on me, even though I haven't been touched since, you know, the great year of '89. But hey, the race starts and Pocket has good positioning and she's like, I just gotta hang on. I have great closing power. I just can't blow my load too early. And the formula for these races is pretty much try not to blow your load too early. She then sees an opening to try to bust her load and sorry, my bad. What am I doing? Like, this is a horse girl anime and I'm talking about busting loads. I might as well just go find a job at this point. And as Pocket's about to take her first step, she appears.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, Pocket, this ain't your body. And Tachyon is gone. She's in first place. She has that shit in the bag. And Pocket is trying to catch up. And it's good that you're trying. Also, it doesn't matter. Sorry to crush your dreams. So after basically fading out of existence in this race, Tachyon goes on the win. And Pocket's just a little bit angry. Just a tiny bit. And you know what time it is? It's time for me to glaze my goat. I'm gonna give y'all all the sauce about this race. But I'm not gonna give y'all all the sauce about Tachyon. That's for later. So y'all better listen. This was Tachyon's first graded race, and if you don't know what a graded race is, it's basically like the highest like tier that a horse can be in when it comes to racing. So there's grade 3, grade 2, and grade 1. So after research and all that, I had to get in my bag. I had to see it for myself. And you know how I said that I went back and I watched the footage of these races? Well, this was one of them. And this horse was actually just that good. And you wanna know how dominant this horse was in this race? Here, let me tell y'all. She won by 2.5 lengths, which is crazy. She also ended up winning with a record of 2.008 seconds, which was the record at the time. And mind you, this was a graded race. And this was her second race ever. So yeah, no, Tachyon was moving different at this point in time. After taking her L like a champ, Pocket decides to watch an upcoming race. And this upcoming race has a horse that is also a GOAT. I won't lie to you, this horse is also pretty crazy. Before we get to the race, we meet Cafe. Tachyon notices that she's not doing too well. So the first thing she does is offer her a weird concoction that looks like a mix of lean and G Fuel and all the opioids you can find. Honestly, no wonder why Tachyon won. She learned from the great crackheads that came before her. Obviously, Cafe declines, then goes on to talk to herself in the corner. Tachyon is like, oh, you're talking to your imaginary friend again? Cafe sitting there surprised, like, you can see them too? No, we can just see you talking to yourself in a corner. Tachyon wonders why everyone has like this Mamba mentality. And Cafe vaguely says, I'm just trying to catch up to her. Who are you trying to catch up to? You want to elaborate? You know, you want to give me a bit of exposition on that? Also, I'm gonna let y'all know, Cafe doesn't really get much of a role in this movie. I'm just saying. Also, that friend that she's talking about, I might have an answer for that because I had to kind of look that up, but I don't know for sure. Well, guess what? Now it's time for us to watch the personification of Game 6 LeBron in anime horse girl form. This is TM Opera, and she has not been defeated once this entire season. The bots in her lobby don't particularly like that. So you know what they do? They all decide to focus her. Brother, this is crazy glaze. To focus on one person, like it's the Steph Curry skit from RDC, with only 300 meters to go, she has to solo everybody. So just like when my friends start talking that tomfoolery on the game, it's time for me to lock in. She got hit with some rocks, but that don't matter. You know why? Because she's about to use up all the budget for the hawk down of the century. With her legacy on the line, can she get the dub? Damn, why does she look like Sun Wukong? I'm actually losing it right now watching this race. Like, I'm on the edge of my seat. Like, god damn, nigga. Like, why is it so close? But it's not close enough because Opera takes the lead while drooling and ends up completing the hawk down of the century. Look at her, rightfully aura farming, hitting the All Might pose and everything. Now, where do I begin with TM Opera? Well, this horse is basically the GOAT. She went undefeated in all the grade races she was in, included 5 G1 races, and this horse's nickname is the Conqueror of Century's End. Why is that so old. This horse was 8-0, and because of that, he was the highest breadwinner at the time of his retirement, making $16 million. Stick with me now, we're not done. He also ended up winning Japanese Horse of the Year, and in this race, he had a rival called Miyashi Dodo, also known as the strongest number 2. Not only you were getting the bag, not only you were getting the awards, you also had a rival to help your legacy. And the thing is, this rival wasn't just a one-off rival, no. There was multiple times throughout their careers that they raced each other and they had close races, and every time Miyashi Dodo lost. Hey, Opera, you got it, because I don't know who wrote this script for you, but whoever did, they was in they bag. Okay, so I'm gonna summarize this whole interaction for time's sake. Pocket is saying, I'm gonna beat you, and Takyon's like, no, you won't, but go ahead and try. I would love to see you do it. This is the it's a race. I'm not going to talk too much about it. All you need to know is that Cafe was in this race. She participated, and I don't think she got no higher than 15th because she was running like mob out there. Also, Tachyon dabbled into the Speed Force, whatever. For whatever reason, she starts grabbing her foot at the end of the race, and I don't think she's hurt or could ever get hurt. My goat could never get injured. Like, such blasphemy will never be tolerated here. I also consider that slander, and if you slandered my goat, I promise you I will find your father and eat his ass. So we see Fuji and Pocket walking, and Fuji has a favor to ask Pocket, and that favor is basically her asking, hey, can you win please? Can you win the Japanese Derby so this old guy can retire happy and so that I can, you know, not feel like a loser at the fact that I blew my knee out and I can't run? Even Fuji recognizes that this is a selfish ass request, but of course Pocket's like, nah, I got you, I'm the strongest, I'm gonna win, I promise. Well, we're here, finally. The race we've all been waiting for. Will Pocket finally win a race against Tachyon, or will she get no diff yet again? And honestly, it's going to be kind of hard when everybody is dick riding Tachyon. She's the favorite in this race. She's the favorite in this year's classic. They're saying that she's going to win the Triple Crown. Hey, legacies are on the line right now. The race starts and Pocket is already folding. I know people that betted on Pocket was like, bro, you're fucking selling my parlay. We see Tachyon up ahead, but Pocket was able to recover and start to catch up. Also, this is a Dansu Flame, another little horse or whatever. We then see Tachyon start to speed up, but then Pocket and Flame also hit their first steps to try to catch up to Tachyon. Mind you, as I'm watching this, I'm like, we haven't seen Tachyon's eyes yet. I'm a little concerned. Even with the concern, I still had hope for my goat because I know for a fact she will pull through. And we're in the home stretch now, and I'm not gonna lie, it's actually really close because then we see Pocket and Flame yell out to Tachyon. So you remember when I said that these horses sometimes tap into the Speed Force? Well, Tachyon does that. Bro, when I tell y'all that I had seen this for the first time and I saw her take that step and her step was math and the Pythagorean theorem, I dropped my drawers in awe. Ref, do something. She's running in math. Nigga, she's ruining the timeline. Bro, she's using the Speed Force, please. Everybody was shook. Nobody could believe their eyes, and I don't blame them because I don't either. Look at Pocket. It looks like she's about to cry. And then Tachyon hits another step. No. And you know that friend that Cafe was talking about? Well, Tachyon is about to catch up to her. That's how fast she's running. Bro, she's running after apparitions. She's looking like Baki out there when he was fighting the air. And while doing all that, she's got the devilish smile as she wins the race. And at the end of the race, Pocket admits that Tachyon beat her. And you know what? She takes her L gracefully. Sometimes when you lose so bad, all you can ever do is respect the nigga that handed you your ass whooping. Even with that being said, Tachyon just walks away with a smile on her face. And again, maybe she's just trying to be humble. Maybe she's trying to stay focused because she is the favorite to win the Triple Crown. You're my GOAT. You're going to win. So let's get ready for the next. Tachyon, is it true that you're retiring? Yeah, I'm done. I'm retiring. Oh, no. Oh, my parlay. Where do I even begin with Agnes Tachyon? And not even just her lore, but also her family tree. So yeah, Tachyon got hurt. In real life, Tachyon suffered a career-ending injury. Now, I like to think of it as she ran too fast for her own good. She even earned the nickname, the Phantom of the Triple Crown. Bro, I can't, dog. It hurts, bro. I'm literally crying and throwing up, bro. She's getting that Derrick Rose treatment right now. It's not even funny. But after he retired, he actually had a pretty successful breeding career. He was fucking. He was cracking. He was doing all of that. He was doing so well that that boy had that type of LeBron nut. The type of nut that you would savor, you know, preserve so that you can have greatness personified. He fathered some pretty good children too. And those horses went on to be some pretty good ones. Now, am I going to talk about them? Hell no, I don't got time for that. Since we're talking about the family tree, let's talk about the horse that actually sired Agnes Tachyon. And his name is Silence Sunday. Now, this horse is an American-bred racehorse who was actually dominant in Japan and was considered the most influential sires in Japan racing history. So basically, he's an urban legend. Basically, he's a myth. Oh, and also, his ability to crack other horses was so good that he changed the breeding industry. Like, what? So I'm only gonna name off a couple of Silence's children because they're the ones that are most relevant to what I'm talking about. Number 1, Tachyon. Number 2, Manhattan Cafe. Number 3, Fuji Kiseki. And number 4 is Silence Suzuku. I only included her because we saw her in the train watching the race, so I just felt like I kind of had to. So that means that these 3 characters in this movie are actually related. Oh, you also know about Cafe's friend as well, the one that I said I was going to talk about later. Well, that friend might be Silent Sunday. Now, that was also the same friend that Tachyon was chasing. Also, these are just theories. We don't really know for sure, but in my headcanon, I would like to think that it is. So do with that information with what you will. Also, one last thing. Children of Tachyon have this thing called the Tachyon timer. Now, you're probably wondering, what is the Tachyon timer? Well, I did my due diligence yet again to find out what that meant. And that basically means that you have a heavenly restriction. And for anybody that knows anything about JJK, which if you don't, you're living under a rock, it's basically where you give up something to gain another thing. So for them, they had to get the ability to run as fast as possible and as fast as they want, but at the cost of blowing their knees out. Why does such a thing exist for horses? Well, I couldn't tell you, to be honest. If anything, this bloodline is cursed. Enough of the pain. We must move on so I can get this over with, because I've been recording this for the last 2 weeks and I have a flight tomorrow. I need to get this video done. So the gang pulls up on Tachyon, wondering, why did you retire? Why? You were so good at the peak of your powers. You know, it got so bad that Pocket had to start grabbing her by her shirt. But then Tachyon looks her dead in her eyes and basically says, what did you think when you were watching me dust your ass? What did you think when I was breaking timelines like Barry Allen? You were thinking, damn, I'm really her bitch for real. Like, goddamn, Tachyon, you have to look in her eye and say all that. And Pocket runs off crying because of it. Dantu runs off crying. Cafe's sitting there like, damn, dog, I ain't know you was gonna do all that. Retire? Never race again? Even though you just blew your knee out? You ain't got that dog in you like I thought you did. Mind you, I can't walk, I can't run, I can barely function, and you're telling me you're getting upset at me for retiring? Bro, I can't run. It's over. How are you upset at me? Okay, so we're at the Japanese Derby. This is the race that Pocket promised that she would win. And we see them walking out in the tunnel, and Dantu's yapping to Pocket, you know, saying some crazy shit. Mind you, Dantu, we just met you like 5 minutes ago. Honestly, let's just skip to the race. Well, Pocket and Dantu have decided to lock in this race. So much so that Pocket is starting to get flashbacks about what Tachyon said to her. She then realizes that Tachyon was challenging them to surpass her. For the first time, Pocket is accessing the Speed Force. And it's not just her, Dansu is also accessing it as well. And Tachyon's watching, she's happy, she's impressed by it. Oh, and I kind of did forget to say that she was watching. Not gonna lie to you, the script is all over the place this video. But look at them go though, running for their lives like it's on the line, trying to carry on Tachyon's legacy, going band for band. I don't even know where Datsu Flame came from, but all of a sudden she's her. They're running so good that Fuji's even tearing up, and shit, I'd be tearing up too, because the only way I would run like this is if I knew the new Demon Slayer movie didn't come out till 2045. So then Pocket pulls away to win the race, and I'm happy for her. She finally got one. Now, did it take like half the movie for her to finally win a race that actually mattered? Yes. Is there a little bit of a fraud watch to be had? Yes, because you had to wait till Tachyon to get hurt for that to be the case. Dansu's over here crying. These two over here like, wait, we actually won? No way. Tachyon's a little bit happy, but then she comes to realize like, wait, she might actually like take my legacy. Wait, my place? Nah, I don't fuck with that. I don't like that not one bit. And so then Pocket is over here screaming her life away because she finally, we did it! So after winning the race, Pocket goes on a press tour run, doing interviews, carrying around her hardware the way that I carry around my 10-piece all garlic Parmesan wings from Wingstop. Even after winning the race, Tachyon's a bit anxious. She's a bit under the weather, and the reason why is because, well, she didn't beat Tachyon. She didn't beat the strongest, and so because of her not beating the strongest, she feels kind of worthless. She feels like, well, if I didn't actually beat the strongest, am I really the strongest? You know, that Gojo and Geto talk, you know? Are you even really the strongest because you are the strongest, or are you the strongest because you're strongest? But Fuji catches on and she realizes that Pocket isn't herself, and so they have a little talk, you know, under the tree and whatnot, and she basically says, hey, meet me under the bridge, I got something to show you. Pocket is waiting under the bridge for Fuji, and Fuji shows up in her old racing fit, trying to relive her glory days. It's over, Unk. You're done. You're a wash. Okay, I'm gonna be somewhat serious for these upcoming scenes, so bear with me. So Fuji is going to race Pocket. Now the reason why she's going to race Pocket is to pose her the question of, are you going to keep running? Ultimately, what prompted the question was with how Pocket was feeling. She was like, damn, I couldn't beat the strongest, so what's the point in running? And Fuji is the only one that truly understands what any of that means. She understands the what ifs. What if I beat the strongest? What if I didn't race? What if I didn't have a career-ending injury? But those what ifs can chain you down. They can bind you so much so that you could never even be greater than your own potential has shown you. Because mentally, those are our toughest battles. The mental ones, the ones where we constantly second guess ourselves, the ones where we genuinely don't know who we are, the ones that we lose ourselves in. And then Fuji says it again. Do you still want to keep running? Because if you do, even if it's just a little bit, I'll run with you too. And that running, that same running that enamored Pocket, that inspired her, and ultimately that's what's going to remind Pocket why she started running in the first place. So Pocket finally answers the question. So Pocket meets up with Tachyon, and by this point, Tachyon has realized that she does not want to give up on her dreams. She doesn't want to leave it up to someone else and have them achieve her dreams in her place. So throughout the movie, she's been secretly grieving at the fact that she can't run no more, all in solitude. Then Pocket says to her, you're strong, and it scares me, and I may never catch up to you. But she's able to accept that fact and keep running. She's able to accept the fact that she may never be the strongest, but what matters is the fact that she can keep going. It then leads us to the Japan Cup, the final race. Not only that this race is a big one, she will also be racing against TM Opera, the GOAT that we had recently just talked about. The race starts and Tachyon is watching, and everybody is kind of surprised by how Pocket is kind of calm, especially racing against world-class horses. As Opera makes her move, everybody else makes their move too, as if they're resonating with Opera. They're getting inspired. Even Tachyon is starting to understand that yes, it sucks that you might not achieve your dreams, but everybody has to keep moving forward. Even when the things we are dealt with, we mustn't stop running. And obviously not giving up guarantees success, but if you truly give up without putting up a fight, then the answer is that it truly is over. But guess what? You're still here, you're still trying, and one outcome doesn't dictate everything that you've done up until this point. So don't give up. Keep showing other people that not giving up has so much more value that you'll ever know. So inspire them, show them a new path, and never look back.
先に行くぜ。彼女たちはたどり着くだろう。私 ターキンか一生追いつけねえかもしんねえ。一生勝てねえかもしんねえ。では強え。今でも怖えんだ。一生追いつけねえかもしんねえ。でも走りてえ。からぶち抜いて目の前がパーって開けてよ、あの感触。忘れられねえんだ。
Sorry for the switch of tones, but as I rewatched the second half of this movie, it was really hard for me to make jokes because the amount of emotion it had. So I just decided to take all that emotion and turn it into something a bit more purposeful, a bit more cinematic, if you'd like to call it that. Even though I did rush the editing a little bit, I still enjoyed it. So hopefully y'all enjoyed it too, enough to like and subscribe. But overall, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. So I'll see y'all until my next video.